What is Cinema Macabro? I created this channel because of my love of horror and sci-fi. And to briefly explain what Cinema Macabro is, Cinema Macabro is a YouTube channel that covers rare cult and horror films, books, toys, comics, video games, and art. Now, a little bit about myself. I'm a Long Island City based filmmaker, photographer, painter, illustrator, and I really love horror. Ever since the days of the VHS era and going to the rental stores and picking up each cover and looking at the covers, I had this fascination with both horror and sci-fi, especially the cover art. My first movie experience was watching Assault on Precinct 13 at 3 years old with both my parents. And it was at this desolate Brooklyn theater, and it was in a predominantly African American neighborhood, and it was one of the best audiences. It was just even the audio commentary in the movie theater was great. It was just amazing. And we saw the film, and I remember it was a pretty violent film. I was 3 years old, and this had to be still in the 70s. And my dad, in his Salvadorian accent, he would always say, "Oh, no, that's ketchup. Don't worry about it. That's ketchup." And then when this Disney actress who actually worked in the film, the actress from Escape from Witch Mountain, gets shot, my dad, it was a pretty controversial scene for that time. Carpenter had to cut the scene to get the film from an X to an R rating, but they never cut the scene. So as a 3-year-old kid seeing this young girl get blown away, my dad's like, "Oh, no. It's ketchup. She's okay. And it was just such a great experience because it was an action film that felt like a horror film. The soundtrack by John Carpenter drilled in my head, pretty programmed me to be a filmmaker and a YouTube host. I'm talking about horror films. My first encounter with actually watching a horror film was watching Chiller Theater with my mom on Saturday. Now, I know a lot of you guys remember Chiller Theater. We didn't have cable back then, so the local station was WPIX 11, which is a channel based in New York. And they would play horror films late at night on a Saturday, and they usually had this intro that was done on claymation. Pretty effective during that time. It was scary. I was like the kid from Creepshow. I genuinely loved horror. To me, that was my roller coaster ride. It's just you just keep going on. It's like getting your fix of a drug. Mine was horror. Movies in general, actually. My first horror toy was a cross between my dad buying the Godzilla toy from Matchbox with shootout hands and the alien xenomorph figure from Kenner. So I pretty much had the title Cinema Macabro and not macabre. Well, I got an explanation. I was inspired by a movie called Mondo Cane, which was a shockumentary shown in 42nd Street, Times Square during the 70s at the height of the grindhouse theater movement. And during this time, there were a lot of films that they had either Italian names or Latin names as a form to give it an exoticness. And they were mostly exploitation films. And there were films like Mondo Cane and Mondo Cane 2 and Africa Addio. And they were shown alongside adult films and other grindhouse horror films. So hence the term grindhouse. It was just the mixture of everything. And I wanted a title that was going to integrate everything from my youth involving horror, sci-fi, exploitation films. And I wanted that exotic sounding name to it. So I called it Cinema Macabro. And that's the title. My love of horror was so great that in 2012 I curated, with the help of Fluid New Media, the Long Island City Horror Film Festival. It was amazing. My friend Gabriel Roldos from Fluid New Media got us a grant. We used the money for the horror film festival, and in days we got news coverage from all the local newspapers about this great festival. And it was absolutely overwhelming getting submissions from around the world. And I was just flabbergasted. I'm like, this is like my dream come true. We also had collaboration from a lot of people, like Mears One from 5 Points in the sadly demolished Mecca of Graffiti. We also had Zombies Worldwide, who provided not only the zombies and the volunteers, but makeup artists for anybody who wanted to volunteer to be a zombie that night, which provided the numbers. We also had a makeshift movie theater, and we had a DJ Molly Mall, legendary hip-hop DJ, and DJ Bill Kramer from Satellite Records provide their talents for the music that night. Not to mention DJ Prozac, an old school DJ from Limelight, came through. It was just amazing. It was just like this huge collaboration of talented people who were enthusiastic and celebrating the love for horror films. And it was not even Halloween. It was just 3 days before Halloween, and everybody had such a good time that night. I met new friends like my friend Lisa Shapiro, who's a talented fire dancer, and all these talents just brought out this really good overall nostalgic feel that just made you feel like a kid again. Now, getting back to John Carpenter, years ago, a lot of my current artwork is pretty much inspired by the films of John Carpenter. And one day I did a Snake Plissken airbrush painting and this big projection outside of school in a VA hospital. And I tagged John Carpenter on Facebook, and he loved my work. It was just amazing having this legend of horror and one master director like my work 3 times in a row, because it's basically inspired by his wonderful films. And I just felt so honored that this amazing masterclass teacher that I never met liked my work. And it just gave me the incentive to create this channel. I was like, this is the pivotal point to see what I do with my expertise as a horror fan. And again, special thanks to John Carpenter for doing that, because it actually made me feel more confident in doing this channel. So if you guys got any comments or suggestions for any future shows, please leave them down below in the comment section, and please hit the subscribe button.